Welcome back to Emotional Mojo. So during an appearance on Good Morning America last week, 2020 anchor Elizabeth Vargas admitted to being an alcoholic and said she had been hiding her problem and it was just exhausting.
You're an alcoholic.
I am. I am an alcoholic. It took me a long time to admit that to myself. It took me a long time to admit it to my family, but I am.
And it must have taken so much effort to keep that secret.
The amount of energy I expended keeping that secret and keeping this problem hidden from view, hidden from my family, hidden from friends, from colleagues, was exhausting.
I mean, you and I have spent literally hundreds of hours this far apart anchoring live television. I would have never guessed this in a million years.
I mean, George, it's a staggering burden to walk around with. And you become so isolated with the secret and so lonely because you can't tell anyone what's happening. And yet it was a fact of my life.
So brave to come out and admit this. And she must have been a very high functioning alcoholic.
Obviously.
For people right near her not to know. Now, she also said throughout her childhood and adult life, she battled panic attacks. And so the way she dealt with it was having a drink. So she admitted she realized she had a problem and needed to get help after she showed up for a 2020 shoot one day, quote, in no shape to do that interview. So I guess that was her rock bottom.
And you know what's interesting too? She said, I didn't fit the profile of what I thought was an alcoholic. You know, I wasn't under a bridge, I wasn't homeless. And so she thought, oh, I just am having a glass or two of wine, which turned into 3 or 4.
Right.
And that's when she started to realize for years that she had a problem.
And Jada, I'm curious, you know, with panic attacks, what's going on in your mind physically? What's happening with a panic attack?
You know, that's a great question, Michelle, because the reality is most of my clients, when they describe an anxiety attack or a panic attack, it feels like you are dying, literally.
Wow.
Your heart's about to leap out of your chest. You can't breathe. You become very constricted. And I could imagine that what Vargas was, you know, dealing with here is the fact that I need something to stop this immediately, and typically alcohol will do that.
Yeah, and you know, she says it's still hard not to drink, but she feels very strong. She's a great support system in place, which we talk about all the time, how important that is.
Right.
So now with AA, instead of turning to alcohol, she'll call a friend or she'll meditate or even pray. So good for her. You know, I wish her well on this road.